Science is pretty amazing. It's figured out all sorts of things about this universe. However, its best guesstimate for the Big Bang is it was a spark from nothingness arising out of a multiverse of other such universes, and this one just happens to support life. One way to look at the energy in the universe is it either magically popped into existence as suggested, or we live in a universe with an energy exchange that cycles over and over again. But to do that, there would need to be a minimum of two forms of matter that can hold and release energy. Mass is one form of matter, but what could be the other one? What about consciousness, or what people refer to as the soul? Is it possible that's a form of matter that can hold and release energy? But how would that work? Well, let's see. Let's say in the Big Bang there were equal amounts of both forms of matter, mass and consciousness. And let's say heat is the catalyst for mass to switch from a near absolute cold black hole to expanding mass into a newly cycling universe. Well, then the consciousness would need to transfer that energy in the form of thermal energy, and its energy level would drop proportionally as the mass energy increased. But if consciousness had been reduced to gazillions of minimal thought level bits of consciousness in this new universe, then how would it increase to higher thought levels to once again someday transfer heat into the black hole it overlapped? That's an interesting question. What if in a primordial pool of water on an otherwise barren planet, some of this minimal thought level consciousness began fusing with earliest arising microbes? Both would be at the same thought level, so they might bond and establish a symbiotic relationship in which the DNA to support a thought level in different species was at the same thought level as its companion consciousness. As either one ascended to higher thought levels, the other would equalize to that new level. Okay, but then the question is, could we measure this other form of matter, consciousness? Dr. Duncan McDougall in 1907 attempted weight loss at death tests in people and dogs, but the test results were inconclusive. However, he didn't have a prediction about what these measurements might mean, and his equipment was antiquated. So I suppose we need a testable prediction. How about this? The higher the weight loss at death, the higher the thought level. So if we were to say, for instance, compare these weight loss at death measurements between two species at distinctly different stages of evolution, such as a raccoon and an opossum, a mammal and a marsupial, then that might be a good test for our prediction. Of course, these tests could only be conducted in case of a need for euthanasia due to disease or injury, but we would need a weight scale that could measure thousandths of a gram, and the test subjects would need to be very still so the scale didn't fluctuate. Heavily sedated, I suppose, might work. Probably need at minimum 3 test subjects for each species to cross-check test results. If that was done and the test results were conclusive, that is, they proved the higher the weight loss at death, the higher the thought level, then wouldn't that open a numeric window into the 5th dimension for the first time in human history? It might also indicate this other form of matter was in another dimension, which would also be very interesting as it helps better model our universe. But that would mean there is a simple way to explain this universe, and everything we need is already here to have an oscillating universe with an energy exchange. I suppose science, though, wouldn't be very interested in conducting these tests because they've already spiked the ball in the end zone celebrating an accidental universe. If this testing led to a different kind of universe, it might be considered a threat to that solidified position. Okay, I understand. It was just a fleeting theory that might challenge the current paradigm. That was silly of me. Better not rock the boat and check behind the curtain. People are always much happier if you just let them presume whatever it is they already think is right. But it was fun for a time here, considering what may have been learned from a simple test that could have opened a window into the 5th dimension. Let's call it a flight of fancy and forget about it. Okay, have a nice day. If you decide you'd like to know more about this theory, though, try reading the book The Theory of Opposite Subverses, available at Amazon.com. Thank you.